Hey friends! Today we're going to talk about the 10 most haunted houses in the world. Everyone dreams of having a beautiful and peaceful home, but what if that same home turns into a playground for ghosts? The 10 houses we're about to discuss have stories so real and terrifying that even movies and documentaries have been made about them. In one house, a son murdered his entire family under the influence of ghosts. In another, a real spirit was caught on camera. And in one shocking case, after a fire broke out, every ghost inside the house was revealed to the world. Each of these houses carries a story filled with fear, pain, and mystery. Just hearing about them can send chills down your spine. So let's uncover which 10 haunted houses are still known as the scariest places in the world today.
Number 10. Haunted Beauty. This house looks calm, but its walls whisper old secrets. The Myrtles Plantation in Louisiana looks frozen in time, like the world outside just forgot about it. Built long ago by General David Bradford, it was once full of workers and life. Wooden balconies, wide windows, and a peaceful charm. Everything feels perfect until the air suddenly turns cold. Locals say this mansion has seen more than 10 deaths, and many still have no clear reason. Families who lived here spoke about footsteps in empty halls, doors moving on their own, and strange chills in the night. But one name echoes the loudest: Chloe. Chloe was a maid who worked here long ago, and her story is full of pain. She was punished cruelly after being caught eavesdropping, losing one of her ears. Filled with anger, she planned revenge and poisoned the family's food, but it went terribly wrong, killing 2 little girls instead. The other servants, terrified, hanged her from a tree. Since that day, people say Chloe's ghost never left. Visitors still see a woman in a green scarf, appearing for seconds before vanishing. Some hear laughter of children on the stairs. Others feel unseen eyes following them. Even today, this grand mansion welcomes tourists brave enough to stay a night, but many leave before dawn, whispering that Chloe still walks the halls.
Number 9. Ghosts of Borley. Something about this house never felt right. In the quiet village of Borley, England, stood a large Victorian mansion built in 1662 for a priest named Reverend Henry Bull. It looked peaceful from the outside, but the moment his family moved in, strange things began. Footsteps echoed in empty rooms, doors moved on their own, and cold air brushed past people even when every window was shut. Locals whispered that a ghostly nun haunted the grounds, a woman said to have been buried alive in the walls centuries ago after falling in love with a priest. People claimed they saw her in a white dress, gliding through the garden or staring silently through the windows before fading away. Years later, another priest, Reverend Lionel Foister, and his wife Marion moved in, and the house became even darker. A typewriter started typing by itself. Walls showed strange messages, and heavy footsteps shook the floors at night. Paranormal researcher Harry Price investigated the house and named it the most haunted house in Britain. In 1939, a fire mysteriously destroyed it, but no one ever discovered how it started. Only broken walls and ashes were left, but the fear never burned away. Even today, stories of Borley Rectory keep returning in books, movies, and the uneasy feeling that maybe some spirits never left.
Number 8. Australia's Haunted Hill. From the outside, Monte Cristo Homestead looks like a grand old mansion sitting proudly on a hill in New South Wales. But once you step inside, the air feels heavy, like the walls remember too much. Built in 1885 by the rich landowner Christopher William Crawley, the place once showed power and luxury, but behind its beauty hides a dark past that never faded. People whisper about a child who fell to his death on the stairs, a servant who died mysteriously, and a maid who jumped from the balcony. There was even a boy who was cruelly chained for years. After Crawley's death, his wife Elizabeth locked herself inside the mansion and never left again. They say her strict spirit still roams the halls, watching every visitor. Even today, strange things happen here that no one can explain. Lights flicker when there's no power, footsteps echo in empty rooms, and people feel cold hands grab them out of nowhere. Some guests hear a woman crying, others feel pushed when climbing the stairs. Locals call it Australia's most haunted house, and brave tourists visit to see if the stories are real. The mansion is now a museum, offering ghost tours where people can spend the night, if they dare. Many arrive with curiosity, but leave before sunrise, shaken by the feeling that the past inside Monte Cristo Homestead is still very much alive.
Number 7. The Green Lady's Curse. This castle looks like a dream from the outside, but inside it hides centuries of fear. Château de Brézé, standing tall in France's Loire Valley, is one of the most magnificent castles ever built. Its roots go back to 1020 AD, and it was later rebuilt by a powerful commander, Pierre de Brézé. For generations, it belonged to the noble Cossé-Brissac family, but one story from its dark past still chills everyone who visits. It's about Charlotte de Brézé, the daughter of King Charles VII, who lived here with her husband, Jacques. One night, Jacques caught Charlotte with a servant, and in a rage, he killed them both inside the castle. That was the night peace left these walls forever. Locals say Charlotte's ghost never left. Known as the Green Lady, she's often seen wandering the upper halls wearing a faded green dress. But those who've seen her up close say her face is horrifying. No eyes, no nose, just a dark, empty shadow where her features once were. At night, strange sounds echo through the stone corridors, crying, footsteps, and screams that make your heart freeze. Lights flicker without reason, and guests feel cold eyes following them as they walk. Today, Château de Brézé still hosts events and tours, but only the brave stay after dark. Many leave before sunrise, whispering about the Green Lady and how she still waits for someone to see her.
Number 6. The Girl Who Never Left.
At first glance, the Sally house in Kansas looks like any normal home. But once you step inside, it feels like the walls are alive, whispering a story that refuses to fade. Back in 1906, a little girl named Sally was brought here with severe stomach pain. The doctor who lived in this very house rushed to operate on her, but made a terrible mistake. He began surgery before she was fully asleep. Sally screamed in pain but couldn't escape. That night, she died in unbearable agony, and people say her spirit never left. Her cries still echo through the rooms, like a voice trapped between life and death. Decades later, in 1993, a couple named Tony and Deborah Pickman moved in, and the nightmare began again. Tony would wake up with scratches and burn marks on his body, and both saw toys moving on their own. Shadows slid across walls, and sometimes they heard the soft crying of a child in empty rooms. Tony once said he was even pushed down the stairs by something unseen. Paranormal teams, including famous ones like Ghost Adventures, investigated and confirmed strange activity.
Today, the Sally House is open to visitors brave enough to enter, but most don't last the night because whatever lives inside that house doesn't like to be disturbed.
Number 5. The Vanishing Men of G.P. Block. In Meerut, India, there's an old building that looks forgotten. Broken walls, dark windows, and silence that feels alive. This is the G.P. Block House, once used by the British for government work. But after it was abandoned, strange things began to happen. Locals say that on quiet nights, flickering candlelight appears inside the ruins. If you dare to look closer, you'll see 4 young men sitting around a table, laughing and drinking, but the moment you blink, they vanish completely. People say it's like watching ghosts trapped in time, replaying the same night over and over again. And that's not the only spirit here. Many have seen a woman in a red sari wandering the rooftop, sometimes standing still at the edge, sometimes peeking from behind broken walls before disappearing in a second. Some believe she's the ghost of a girl who died here years ago. Those who've entered the building talk about doors creaking on their own and soft whispers following them in the dark. The government has now sealed off the place, but curiosity never dies. Even today, brave YouTubers sneak in to film what they find, and many come out shaken, saying G.P. Block isn't just haunted, it's alive with restless souls.
Number 4. The House That Never Ended. In San Jose, California, stands a mansion that makes no sense. Stairs going nowhere, doors that open into thin air, and windows built inside walls. This strange place is called the Winchester Mystery House, and it was created by a woman haunted by guilt and fear. Sarah Winchester was the widow of William Winchester, whose famous rifles had taken countless lives. After losing her husband and daughter, Sarah's world fell apart. A medium once told her that the angry spirits of those killed by Winchester guns were seeking revenge, and the only way to survive was to keep building a house that would never be finished. From that day in 1884, Sarah built and built day and night for 38 years straight. The mansion grew into a maze of over 160 rooms with secret passages, twisted halls, and stairs that lead right into the ceiling. Some say Sarah designed it to confuse the spirits so they could never reach her. Even after her death, people still feel her presence inside the house. Tourists who visit talk about hearing faint footsteps, doors closing on their own, and whispers that seem to come from behind the walls. The Winchester Mystery House isn't just a building, it's a living riddle, a monument to fear, guilt, and a woman who tried to hide from the dead. Number 3. The Brown Lady of England. Raynham Hall in Norfolk looks like a royal dream from the outside, but its walls hide a heartbreaking secret. Long ago, Lady Dorothy Walpole lived here, a woman who dared to love against her family's wishes. When they discovered her secret marriage to Lord Charles Townshend, they locked her away inside the mansion, cutting her off from the world. Trapped in loneliness, Dorothy slowly faded away, dying in silence within those same walls. But her spirit never left. For centuries, people have claimed to see her wandering down the grand staircase, dressed in a brown gown, her eyes hollow and full of pain. Locals began calling her the Brown Lady. Then, in 1936, proof finally appeared. 2 photographers, Captain Hubert Provand and Indris Shira, were taking pictures for a magazine inside Raynham Hall. When they developed one photo, it sent chills around the world. A misty figure in a brown dress gliding down the staircase. The image became one of the most famous ghost photos ever taken. Even today, those who visit the mansion say they feel a strange presence, hear quiet footsteps, or catch the sound of soft crying near the stairs. Raynham Hall may look silent, but some say Lady Dorothy still walks there, a ghost forever searching for the freedom she was once denied.
Number 2. The House of Screams. In the heart of New Orleans stands a mansion so beautiful it could fool anyone. But inside, it hides one of the darkest stories in American history. This is the LaLaurie Mansion, once home to Madame Delphine LaLaurie, a woman known for her wealth and charm. To the public, she was a glamorous hostess who threw lavish parties. But behind the grand walls of her home, she was a monster. In 1834, a fire broke out, and rescuers rushed inside, only to uncover a nightmare. Hidden rooms revealed slaves who had been chained, beaten, and tortured in horrifying ways. The truth shook the city. Furious locals stormed the mansion, but Madame LaLaurie fled to Paris, never to face justice. Even now, people say the spirits of her victims never left. Visitors report hearing screams echoing through the halls and the sound of chains dragging across the floor. Shadows move in the corners, and some say they've seen ghostly figures crying out for help. The mansion's beauty can't hide its curse, a past so cruel it still bleeds through the silence. The LaLaurie Mansion has inspired countless documentaries and horror shows, including American horror story Coven. But those who've stood outside its gates say the real terror isn't on screen. It's still inside, trapped within the walls that remember every scream.
Number 1. Haunted Eyes of Amityville. It all began in a quiet town in New York called Amityville. On Ocean Avenue stood a lovely white house with windows that looked like eyes staring right at you. But behind those pretty walls hid a nightmare that shook America in 1974. That year, Ronald DeFeo Jr. took a gun and killed his parents, 2 sisters, and 2 brothers while they slept. When police asked why he did it, he calmly said, "The voices told me to." From that moment, the house became a mystery no one could explain. A year later, a new family, the Lutz family, moved in hoping to start fresh. But peace didn't last long. George Lutz woke up every night at 3:15, the same time the murders happened. Kathy felt unseen hands lift her into the air, and their kids saw glowing red eyes in the dark. Doors slammed on their own, whispers filled the halls, and a heavy silence took over the rooms. After 28 terrifying days, the family fled, leaving everything behind. Their story became a best-selling book and hit movie, The Amityville Horror. Even today, that same house stands quietly. Its address changed, but those eyes still seem to watch, like the house itself remembers everything. And that was the journey through the 10 most mysterious haunted houses in the world, places where walls whisper secrets and shadows never sleep.